Every other night, we're going to have a conversation that is truly long overdue. But not only that, it's absolutely imperative that you be part of the conversation. So 0966100885 or 0777885885 are the numbers to call once we open the phone lines. They're not open yet. I won't be taking any calls until a particular time when I do say that the phone lines are open, but it will be advisable to keep the phone nearby because they could open any time. Let's just get right into it. Good evening. If you're just joining us, this is the People's Radio, Sky FM, and you're listening to the Sky Forum, the People's Platform, where voices collide, ideas are challenged, and the nation speaks back to power. Tonight's conversation is not comfortable. I warn you. It's emotional, it's political, and for millions of young Zambians, it is personal. They chant the slogans, they fill the rallies, they fight online wars for politicians they may never meet. They defend parties with unmatched energy, they flood social media timelines, they wear party regalia with pride, and they become the machinery of political survival. But tonight we ask, when policies are drafted and when contracts are awarded, when jobs are shared, when national decisions are made, where are the youth? Are young people in Zambia truly participating in leadership, or are they simply being used as political tools in a power game controlled by old elites? That's tonight's topic, the youth mandate, from political tools to policy architects. And joining us is a man who has become one of the loudest and most controversial youth-aligned political voices in Zambia, Honorable Binwell Mpundu. Honorable, welcome to Sky FM.
Tasha, that introduction. Thank you so much, Tasha.
I hope it did you justice.
So thank you so much for inviting me, Tasha, and permit me to greet those that may be joining us this evening. And I hope that we can give our listeners a good interactive program.
I also hope so. And I must let you know, we do open the phone lines, and we have very, very passionate listeners out there who want the truth, who want to hear their answers, their questions answered. So I hope you'll be prepared for that, not to scare you, but just
very equal to the task.
Just to prepare you.
Yeah.
Honorable, without wasting any more time, let's start here. Every election season in Zambia suddenly becomes about the youth. Okay? Politicians suddenly remember Komboni youth. Young people become the future. Campaign songs get louder. Slogan trend harder, and they're always involving the youth. But after elections, many youth go back to unemployment, frustration, debt, and survival mode. So let me ask you directly, are Zambian youth genuinely part of governance, or are they simply political ammunition?
Unfortunately, Tasha, the young people of Zambia are simply viewed as tools in the hands of politicians, and sadly so for many years now. Despite when you go back to history, it is the young people that actually, built the foundation of what Zambian politics is. There was a time when Zambians got frustrated with the leadership of the colonial masters, how we were being treated and everything else. We literally became visitors in our own home. And Zambians across the breadth and width of this country decided enough was enough, and they set on an agenda to kick out, the oppressors, the colonial masters. When you go back to history, you learn that the young people went and fought. History will tell you that, interestingly, our forefathers who did all the donkey work, who eventually formed our first government, were relatively young people, with KK having started these activities just around 27 years old. He was finally crowned as president of Zambia at only 40 years. When you look at the first cabinet of KK, they were relatively younger. with the oldest in the cabinet having only been about 42 years. The rest were young. When you again look at how many served in different portfolios, the Vernon Mwanga, the late Arabi, they were very young people. History will tell you when we celebrate, the Youth Day, that we commemorate those young people who were killed, in these struggles. So we have a very solid foundation of when young people actually got involved and actually did the actual governance, issues and decisions. Along the way, those who went ahead of us decided to, keep the young people away around the adage of young people are future leaders. That is an adage that has kept many young people kept in the terraces waiting for that future which has never even been defined. I remember when I was running for elections in 2021, I had served as district commissioner for Kitwe. I had been, left out of the adoption on the basis that I was younger, only to be left again in 2021 on the basis that I was younger. Now, they were telling me I was still young, but I had served the city of Kitwe as the head of the government.
But what is that? I want to talk about it as a philosophy of Zambia, or an idea that Zambians have, that to be a good politician you must be old and gray. That is a symbol of wisdom. But I know young people who are very wise, kuchila bakulu, to be very honest, and old people who are, I'm sorry to use it, very foolish. You know what I mean? So where does this idea that young people don't belong in positions of power come from?
Unfortunately, selfish people are the ones who've been able to create that narrative. Like I have intimated, the people that actually started the politics of Zambia were relatively younger. Let me not say relatively. They were young people. The Kekes were young. The foundation of Zambia was beautiful in the hands of young people. The development you see about Zambia today was the development that was initiated by young people. When Keke was in his prime years as a young leader, Zambia was destined for greatness. That is when we saw Zambia rising up as a star. During those, years, Zambia was doing very well in all facets. The economy was booming, employment was good. We had industries in every province. We had industries, bicycle assemblies, motor vehicle assemblies. We had companies that were manufacturing tires. Dunlop, if you remember, we had companies that were making suits. Our mining industries were thriving. That is a time when young people were in charge. Now, along the way, they grew. And were scared that if young people were allowed to take over, they would eliminate. There's this notion that when you give power to young people, two things will happen. Number one, that young people will mess up. Number two, that young people will exclude the young people from the political equation, or the other people from the political equation. Now, the notion that young people will mess up is completely false, and it is meant at keeping young people at bay, keeping young people as far away as possible. We have examples of young people who have thrived politically, starting from the very first contingent of young people that led this country. And so they are selfish people that keeps pushing that narrative, and sometimes so based on maybe one mistake of young people that have been in leadership. They'll come and tell you, Mama Binwell, Chimutwe. That is why you cannot have young people in power. Now, they forget. You must make mistakes. Life is about learning.
We also see old people sleeping
in
parliament, and we say that is why you shouldn't have old people. Yes, we have seen it many times. The person is literally snoring.
In fact,
live on television.
Tasha, sleeping is even better. These old people are the reason why Zambia is on its knees, because of their selfishness. The corruption you talk about today at the leadership, done by politicians. Name one young person who has been caught up in the web of corruption. It is the old people. The tribalism we hear about today, the division across tribes and regions, name one person who is a champion, it is always the old people. But they will rush out at young people for one mistake. A young person makes young people and say, why we don't include my youth? Because look at him, but they forget their own mistake. That's why even the Bible says you cannot remove a speck in your friend's eye when you have logs. And these old folks are clever. They keep going to young people during a time like this. You will see how important the young people will be, because let's face it, everybody knows the value young people brings to the table.
In fact, we are a majority population of the country.
Exactly. Now, the sad part is the young people themselves, somewhere, somehow, are to blame. You see what? When you go to a shop, Tasha, who determines the value of the product in a shop? He's the owner of the shop.
Yes.
He knows where he got those shops. He's the one who's going to be placing, values on the products, because he knows where he got those. The young people need to know their worth, their value. Nobody's going to place value on you, Tasha, as a lady. You are the one who knows what your value is. If a guy comes to you, Tasha, proposing you, okay, you know who you are. Okay, you are going to set the conditions. If you say come as you should, or with whatever you have, then you are placing value. So the young people in Zambia, unfortunately, have placed themselves in that position of vulnerability. I was in that position myself. We toiled for PF. I was one of the few young people in this country that believed in the late Michael's, leadership. When it was not fashionable to support PF, we went and fought and built PF. But when it came to recognition, they would always tell us, wait for your time. And they always run to this, nonsense of loyalty. And I've always argued, loyalty should never be one-sided. Loyalty is a double-edged, thing, okay? Even nakabwafe dogs, puppies, pamwesu, Tasha. If you want your dog to be barking, what do? Keep it well. Provide the food. In the night, you will be sleeping comfortably. He will be doing the job. If you don't give, your dog food, you don't take care of your dog, when you need it to bark, it will not bark. And so it's supposed to be politics. Politics should be, loyalty should be a two-sided thing. You want me to be loyal to your political party, also consider my interests. And so young people have unfortunately taken that comfortable position because they've been told, Imwe, not Lelo, you are future leaders. And they've been okay with it. Myself and many young people in the PF decided enough was enough. There was me, there was Munia Zulu, there was JJ, and many others who were left out in the adoptions quite a number of times. We decided, In Bemba we say, ifi karika pansaka bwali. If there's nothing, no food here, there's no need to stay here.
Exactly.
Let's go and find our way. And that's how we found ourselves in Parliament. And this, I think, is a wake-up call for young people. If you're going to sit comforted by the adage that you are future leaders, that future will never come. Now today, they are being zemberekad in the name of, no, we have changed the constitution. We are now going to have 15 young people who are going to go to Parliament, so you must vote for us. Sadly, the young people, the 15 young people who are going to go into Parliament under proportionate representation, it's not you. It's not the common young people in the compound. It is their children. It is their relatives. We saw from the recruitment
who have been groomed and told what to say and which agenda to push and all of that. It's not the layman youth.
Exactly. We saw an example, a very ugly example, when the UPND government were recruiting police officers. 4,000 police officers secretly recruited. Who?
Was that the UPND government? Was that the police? Because the police should be independent of any party. They're serving the people, not the party.
Come on, the police can't do anything without, the government. And the government, is the president and his people. We saw 4,000 young people drawn from their homes These are leaders of the UPND, these are leaders of the police, the high-ranking police officers. We had even junior officers complaining, if we were not even considered to also submit names of our relatives. They picked their relatives, and that tells you, even when you talk about proportional representation, where they'll pick 15 young people to go to parliament, it is not you and me, it is their children. For the rest of the young people, they've created what they are calling Imisepela app. When you go to Imisepela app, Tasha, it will prompt you for details. Okay? All the details, God knows, we've seen in other countries where they will create an app towards election so that they can get details for manipulating elections. We have seen it because when you go to that app, it will be asking you, do you want a job? Do you have 10 years experience? Come on. How does a young person who comes from school at the university get 10 years of experience if you haven't given them a job? So for the rest of the young people in this country, they've been treated to Imisepera app. The 15 positions that are going to be available for youths to go to parliament, unfortunately, it will be for their children, just like they've done on the recruitment of nurses, on the recruitment of officers at ZNS, on the recruitment of officers who police their children.
I want to move the conversation towards your personal mandate now, because obviously I hear what you're saying, but we can't dig further into that without any kind of evidence or receipts, proof, timelines. But I want to bring you to this, Honorable. You've built a strong identity around us speaking boldly and challenging authority, as you have right now. Many youth resonate with your slogan, Ichabaiche, because they feel angry, ignored, and economically concerned. From your testimony, I hear that you've been on the receiving end of being put aside and not being recognized for your efforts in the political scene. Do you believe today's political atmosphere in Zambia is being driven more by frustrated youth or by actual ideology?
Well, it's a mixture for me. Unfortunately, many young people today feel disappointed. Let me not say many young people. I think that every youth today, who at least is not in the category of the Dumbani Madoda, the praise singers, feel the pain, the frustrations of having pushed people into power on the premise of the many promises. Because you remember, it was so nice during the campaign of 2021. They used to be told, just you will be shouting, just body and the job will be on your way. 5 years down the line, how many young people have gotten that recognition?
This is actually what I want to get to, because the youth dominate political rallies, online political warfare, cadre mobilization. In the past, gladly we have done away with cadreism, or we're trying to protest culture, party propaganda, meme policies. But when it comes down to it, you don't see them in cabinet. You don't see them planning the economy, drafting policy, national ownership, strategic leadership. We see them doing the most when it comes to before elections. But where the positions matter, there is no youth representation that actually how can I say, has a real effect on the ground. Why do you think Zambia still fears giving real power and real jobs to the youth?
Like I said, first of all, the young people themselves have relegated themselves to that very vulnerable position where just give us any crumbs, or they are ready to just be picking the crumbs that falls off the table. Young people in Zambia, unfortunately, they are not prepared to fight their way onto the table. They are waiting for handouts. Okay, they're waiting for that recognition. We've reached a place where we've waited for too long as young people. We demonstrated that, like I said, myself, Venamunia, and others. We demonstrated, the need for us to push our way to the table where decisions are made. Sadly, if we're going to still continue waiting for this recognition, I will tell you this, and I kid not, you will never get that recognition, because there's always that fear. You see, The old folks are afraid that if we give a chance to young people, there will be nothing for us. They will dominate the politics. They will kick us out of the equation. They are right to insinuate that when young people are given chance, they will kick them out of the equation. Because, come on, if I became president today, why would I keep Bamsokotwani?
I mean,
why would I keep Bamirupi? No, wisdom.
Wisdom to be trickled down, because we can't get rid of all the elders.
They are advisors. They are position reserved for people to advise. If I'm president today and I want wisdom from the people, I can create a special committee of advisors that will be mainly of the old folks. You don't need to keep them in the cabinet. You don't need to have them occupy all these positions, and that is what worries these old people.
And
that is
right
why
to worry, right? Because
they have the right. Because look, let's be frank. This country is stagnated in terms of progress. Why? Because we are using the same formula. They say, insanity is having to use the same things over and over again.
Expect a different result.
I don't know how we expect people like Bamsokotwani, who have been tried over and over again in the same positions with terrible results. We certainly expect they will produce miracles today. I don't know how people like Sylvia Masebo, Felix Mtati, who perform miracles having been tried over and over again. All these old folks, Muchima, defense minister, education minister, all these, our old men and women who are serving in the UPND leadership today, are people that have been in those offices for so many years and have performed the worst. But I can tell you again, and I want to stress this to the young people, if you're going to still be waiting that there'll be free goodies, they'll give you positions on a silver platter, most of these are selfish people. If there will be a slot for young people, it will not be you and me. It will be their children, and they've demonstrated that. So what is there as an option for the young people? The only option, unfortunately or sadly, is that young people now have only one way out: to unite and then push their way to fight for a space or a few spaces at least. There's always a starting point. We can start, let's push, so many people to go and sit in the cabinet. And then later on, we have the power to now, fight for the bigger chunk of, the cake. So that is why, like you referred to Ichabaiche, I and my friends decided, let's create a platform. We create a platform where young people will now take the center stage. I know that we're not going to participate in the elections as Ichabaiche in August. We've decided to team up with the old people because strategically so, we realized that the terrain, the environment was not conducive. Clearly so. The political environment is, completely hostile today. Make no mistake, I have been doing politics. This is my 20th year, Tasha. I have never seen a regime that is as evil as the UPND. Look, election as an example is a competition. The best man wins, meaning that the best person who's going to advance good ideas to the people is going to convince the people and they'll vote for him. We've reached a place where it is no longer about competition. It is about playing schemes. They are calling it cleverly as a mingalato.
But evil is a very powerful word.
It is what it is.
Could you elaborate on that?
It is what it is. It is when you focus not on competing, you focus on eliminating competitors. You are evil, sir. Oh, madam. Election is purely about competition. That is why the rules of engagement are clear. The Constitution, agreed by all the citizens, prescribes who must participate in the election at every level. Councillor, mayor, MP, president.
Is it
the Constitution.
It may be all of these alliances, don't they? Is it not that it's more of a situation of projecting an inferiority complex because when you see these alliances, it's parties and independent candidates joining these alliances, and we asked this question yesterday to say, are these alliances about bettering the people, or is it just about taking over power? Because sometimes it sounds more like an inferiority complex being imposed on the people to say, we feel as if we won't win, so let's unite and bring all these people who have one common goal, which is to unseat the UPND.
There's unfortunately a very sad realization in the political arena now, that unfortunately we are not up against noble men to compete with. We are up against evil men who use any manner of schemes to play dirty. We know that politics is dirty, but not as dirty as what has become now, where you want to manipulate the law to continue staying in power, okay? At the expense of even usurping the powers of the Constitution. Whatever the ECZ is trying to do through the amendment to the electoral laws is completely foolish, because in the end, they are now negating or doing away with the Constitution. Remember, the supremacy of the Constitution cannot be compromised. Any law you enact must speak to the Constitution. So what has now become the order is to realize that, guys, we are not fighting gentlemen. We are not fighting, Democrats. We are fighting evil. It's like a modern day lion we have. The UPND, for me, I like to liken them to a modern day lion. They are here to negate the strides we've made in terms of our democracy. Our democracy, Tasha, has been flourishing in the region. We've been a beacon. We have been an example to many. We've changed governments, over and over again. Everybody looks at Zambia as a typical. Today, we've become a laughingstock because of these machinations being played. So it is now a realization that before we can even advance our agendas, unfortunately, the terrain is not conducive. So we have a lion in the village. And normally, when you have a lion, and I always refer to what the Easterners will tell you, when the lion comes in the village and eats a mad person, you, the normal people, don't say, that is a mad person it has eaten. So leave it. Tomorrow, that lion will still be hungry. It will come. It will look for another mad person, right? The next day, when all the mad people will be eaten in the village, what will it do? It will still want to eat. It will now start eating the same normal people. So in the political arena now, we have this lion that is terrorizing. Today, they've enacted laws. They call the cyber laws. 3 pieces of legislation. The cyber laws, cyber crimes law, now the CCTV law. These 3 laws, so many people, if you go to prison, facilities, you will find people who you didn't even know have gone to prison because they were caught up in the web of the cyber laws. This lion is taking out anyone who holds it accountable. There are so many politicians who have gone to jail. Some of us are on the queue to go to jail.
That it's a threat on the freedom of speech and freedom of
It is not a threat. It is the reality now. There is no freedom of expression today. Imagine, Tasha, that some of us who are at Parliament enjoys that freedom of expression, at least to some extent, because of the immunities we enjoy there, that anything you say in the House cannot be used against you in the courts of law. They have now taken an amendment as we speak. Out of those 75 bills being considered at Parliament, there is one that is demanding that we change the rules of engagement at Parliament, which we call the Code of Conduct. Now, a member of Parliament will be taken to the police, jailed over what they say in Parliament.
Everything you do can and will be used against you.
Now is going to be the order that MPs now will no longer have a cover. What am I saying? We have a lion that does not want to be held accountable, that is going to devour anyone who stands in its way. Anyone who questions, why have you done this? Why have you made this decision, has to go to jail? Why have you done this shoddy road called the Lusaka and Ndola Carriageway? Why have you chewed our money from the toll gates? Now they will now be taking you outside Parliament to Mafe Pachivi. They will be on your throat and they will take you to jail, like they did to Munia. They realize that we have taken a person or an MP to jail. without the law supporting us, because Munia, for those who didn't know, went to serve in prison because Munia was protected by the immunities of parliament when he made the allegation against Mirupi and the finance minister.
Yes.
He was protected. I remember we took the magistrate to where Munia had made the statement. There's what we call precincts of parliament, the areas around parliament, buildings and the motels. Whatever you say in those areas,
premises,
you are protected. But Munia was taken to jail. What are they now trying to do? They're now trying to sanitize that evil action they did on Munia by now removing completely the blanket. So, other than the agenda to develop this country, the opposition are faced with one task: remove this criminal, remove this lion. Because after August, you will remember my words today, Tasha, there will not be democracy in this country.
I want to take it back to the youth very quickly before I open the phone lines. Some critics, Honorable Mpundu, say political parties deliberately keep the youth emotional instead of intellectual, that it is easier to control hungry youth than empowered youth. Do you agree with that?
Yes, it is happening today. The West now, okay? The young people now will be paraded. First of all, what has happened in this country is because young people now are starving. Young people are destitute. Today, even when young people are in Tabako Tenchito, they go prospecting for minerals. They discover gold in Mufumbwe. Instead of supporting them like the Ghanaians have done, put them in cooperatives, support them with the resources they need, you send the police officers to go and open fire at your own children. In Pika, the same has happened, where police officers have gone to open fire on the children who have discovered, on the young people who have discovered God. So deliberately, the young people are starved. No jobs, no business opportunities, nothing. When you are starved, you are a slave to that one who has what you need. That is why now you'll have intellectuals, young people who are getting educated in the public universities, being paraded for only 100 kwacha to go and sing Kwenyu and Sotsana. You have emotionally damaged the young people, emotionally or physically drained these young people. They are they've suffocated with these frustrations. They are hungry. They are starved. And what happens now? You come back and say, here is 100 kwacha. Come to State House and sing Kwenyu. Here is 100 kwacha. Go to the stadium and sing Sotsana. That is a reality, unfortunately, and unfortunately, it has been the order of the day. The old politicians have mastered this art, where they can come and dangle these carrots. Okay, they'll give you some small, especially during the elections.
Especially during the
they will
elections.
Dangle these carrots.
And the
they'll give you.
slogans, they come out. They make catchy songs. The youth remember Dununa Reverse. The minute it plays, no matter where you are, Oko, you start dancing. I'm not saying it was a bad song. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying the power of a song, the power of a slogan, even yours, Ichaba, it catches the youth's attention. But how come it still goes back to the fact that after elections, the youth are pushed to the side?
Realization. The young people, unfortunately, still are in charge of their destiny.
Do you think?
And I'm saying this.
Let me add this to that question. Do you think Zambia's economic pressure is making youth easier to manipulate? Exactly.
Tasha, it is so sad. I have spoken my lungs out to represent people. I have pushed people's agenda. Anyone who is conflicted with issues. Today I was pushing the issue of those who worked for during the NRC mobile registration. The officers have not been paid for over a year now. I have fought for people.
Going to work.
Yes. I have fought for people. But what do? The old people sitting in their offices and call the young people, Binwell, go and attack. You will see from this broadcast, you will see the young people how they'll come and insult me. From just what I'm saying. Here, I'm actually, awakening the young people. Wake up, young people. You cannot be the ones to be used to do violence. You cannot always be used to go and insult others. You cannot always be the ones who are used to go and campaign, who are used to go and vote. At the end of the day, you get nothing. Wake up, young people. There will not be any person who will be as magnanimous, as gracious, as forthcoming, as nice as I am being to the young people. That Bane, I have learned it the hard way myself. I pushed my way. I did every donkey work that needs to be done for my party. When there was no recognition, I took a solo trip. The young people now don't need to go solo trips. They need to work together, because like they say in Bemba, when the young people realize that we've been duped for a long time, they will realize that the only thing they are left with is to come together and not ever do those donkey works for the old, where you are sent to fight, to insult, and to campaign, but you must now be campaigning for your fellow young people.
Thank you very much. Honorable, at this point, I would love us to open the phone lines, 0966 100 885 or 0777 885 885. Honorable Binwell Mpundu in the house tonight, a Zambian politician and businessman who currently serves as the Member of Parliament for Nkana constituency in the National Assembly. I'm going to come back, and there's one or two questions I want to ask you around that concerning the youth, but also we're going to play a game called Rapid Fire, where I ask you questions and then you respond quickly and short and to the point. But first, let's take our first caller of the night. Mister, keep that call coming in, 0966 100 885 or 0777 885 885. Sky FM, the People's Radio.
Good morning.
Good evening. Who are we speaking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Matthew.
Matthew.
Matthew calling you from Kawata constituency.
All right, Matthew from Kabwata. We have Honorable Mpundu in the building with us. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Honorable Mpundu, how are you?
I'm very well, Matthew. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mpundu. I'm very
Mm.
so, Mpundu, I've listened to you and I've followed the deliberations in Parliament. Yes, and for me, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes, yes, we're happy as young people to have young leaders who are participating in politics, young leaders who are representing the youth. But the challenge we have is that you will let us down as youth, because sometimes we look at how you conduct yourselves in Parliament, even the critics you've been giving on the radio. It's okay to give a balance, a check and balance. But the challenge we have is that even the current administration, they have done a lot of scores. They have scored so many things. I expected you also to recognize, to say you've been a young politician who is building on a political party called the HRIC, which is a very good thing for democracy. But you look at also the things that the party has scored, for example, by UPND. They have scored the issues of education, they have improved the agriculture sector, they have improved the medication supply in hospitals. There are certain positive things that you as the opposition, we also want you to be pointing out some of the positive things the current administration has scored. But if you as the opposition, you be throughout negative, whereby everything you want to criticize, it's difficult for us, your fellow youth, to say, let's support our colleague, our friend. But if you are going to say, okay, here they have done well, here we can do better, we can improve, then we are going to say you are a credible opposition. But where you criticize everything, I think for me, my brother, that one is very difficult to agree with you. But where we see you as government is coming, where you start saying, okay, here we've done well, here we have not done well as a government, because you are part of the government, you are the legislature. Even the policies you push to Parliament, some of them you supported them, some you didn't support them. So this is what we want to see from you as the opposition. So give us a credible opposition where you can give a check and balance. Then we are going to say we are having a future political leader who is coming in the name of Mpundu.
Thank you very much.
If you are going to criticize, then it will be difficult. I submit and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew, for that contribution. Do stay tuned to the People's Radio. Honorable Mpundu, I'm going to take more calls and then I'm going to turn back to you so that you can respond to each and every one by one. Sky FM, the People's Radio. I'm very fine, thank you. Mulibwanji lero. Tikamsana ndani. Okay, Babanda, welcome to the show. Mr. Honorable Mpundu is in the building with us. What is your contribution for the night? Okay, thank you very much for that one, and do stay tuned to the People's Radio. We are live on Facebook on Sky FM Zambia. If you'd like to follow the program live on Facebook with visuals, go ahead and follow us right now. And remember to like and subscribe to Sky FM Zambia. Sky FM, the People's Radio.
Good evening, Madam Nathan.
Good evening. Who am I speaking to? Where are you calling from?
Speaking to Narishua.
Honorable Nalishiwa, welcome to the show. What is your contribution?
Greetings to Honorable Comrade Binwell.
Thank you, Analishwa. How are you doing?
Well, Honorable, you know, the Zambian youth, they love you, Honorable. Let's not beat around the bush. But now, as I speak now, Honorable, my colleague from Karakawata, you have millions and millions of youth, whereby Honorable, you say the Israelite movement, and many youth were inspired, listening to a story of you being a mayor of the other side of town. Now that the Honorable, from being a Israelite movement leader, where you have moved from this country, across the country, advertising for that. At the end of the day, sir, you get Israelite to Israel. So how can we trust you, Honorable Binwell? When you are just condemning everything that the youth government is doing. In your stay as PF, you are going to meet with the people who are saying that you tell me they are old folks. Yet you today you are mingling with the same old folks in PF who planted the of this country. Who misled?
Hello? Honorable, yes, Honorable Nalishiwa, continue. You've got 10 more seconds.
Okay, so as I conclude, you have been off window. We will not vote for separation. You continue your movement, that's your duty, to rally behind you. Don't mix yourself with people who plundered this country in the name of PF. Those will never come back to power. Follow the family. No one knows wrong with you. So stand on your own stuff. People support you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nalishiwa. Let's take more of your calls. Sky from the People's Radio. Unfortunately, we lost that. We're also receiving your messages 0966-100-885 or 0777-885-885. We have Honorable Binwell Mpundu in the building with us tonight. Sky from the People's Radio.
Hello.
Hello, who am I speaking to? Where are you calling from? Michael, go ahead with your contribution, please. Greet our guest tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that contribution. Do stay tuned. Sky from the People's Radio. Good evening. Who are we speaking to? Where are you calling from? Say that again, please. And I hope you have reduced the volume on your radio. Okay. Katongo.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Katongo.
Okay, good evening, no.
Good evening, Wakatongo. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Like this meeting, as a good listener, sometimes you do well, but sometimes go in the groups. And the way that I would like to do, as you are saying that you're good to the way that you be foolish in your problem.
Mm.
Because you are teaching now, you're saying to follow the language. You see, we understand something about each other, but still we need to admit to the wrong thing, compare, accept it, to comment on the other good things that the other people appreciation in life is good. Not everything, even us as listening followers. It's not everything you hear, for example, that with them that you think they have never did anything. We always accept the word to speech, and we get to feel the result of that to small, that way the entire country look you up to say, we did well in that, we do appreciate, but now we do it now. In our both new fields, because you have never did anything that advanced you can be done. I example, if there is any country where we are going to be then there is not our. In our country where huge use only the love these other countries. But today, the number of people that will new today because of their social systems that have been so if you keep on, you understand that it's a social solution. So at least you can check that. Then you put it normalize it.
Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Katongo, you were upset by the word foolish. Okay, Mr. Katongo, we have lost him there. 0966-100-885 or 0777-885-885. I'll take one more call, and then after that we are going to obviously turn back to Honorable Mpundu so that he can respond to all of your messages. And also I would like to read some of the messages that have come in, because it's not just been calls, it has also been messages. All right, let's go to our text messages right now. I hope you're ready, Honorable, because some of them are quite direct. Here's the first one. It says, okay, it's coming from the voice of Namuseba from Tonse. It says, explain more on elimination. Who has been eliminated without going against the laws of Zambia? Cybers start by PF. Oof. Who was failed by the majority. I don't know what that means. It means the laws UPND put in place are going to go with them, or it will remain for Zambians. Wow, that's a little bit of a difficult message to decipher there, but I guess he's saying that cyber crimes began with the PF. There were also issues under the PF government when it came to the cyber restrictions and freedom of speech. There's another message saying, good evening, Waskai FM and Mr. President Mpundu, Ichaba HS. Sir, we love you. I personally love you so much. You are so different from others in terms of politics. Please, let's fight for Mundubile on the 13th of August, 2026. I'm listening to you from 10 miles. My name is Peter. That one comes in from Peter. Thank you, Peter, for sending through that message. Another message saying, addressing the ruling party and calling them evil and lions. That's pure childish politics type and propaganda. The way you carry yourself, Mr. Mpundu, Should I just be honest with you?
Yes.
The way you carry yourself, Mr. Mpundu, is childish. Point out, and not to point out, you're still growing up in politics. You're still growing up. Talk about reality, face the real politics. Don't forget the political motto is a dirty game. As a leader, you have a right voice, not a vulgar voice. Sarcasm language that you are using. So basically, please, that's what he's saying. Don't be sarcastic there. So yeah, all right, we've read your messages. I'll take my last call for the night. Sky FM, the People's Radio.
Yeah,
Hello, who am I speaking to? Where are you calling from? All right, Mr. Mwanza, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah,
Good evening, Good evening, Ba Mwanza.
Oh, unfortunately, we lost that one. Story to Sky FM, hello.
Yes, Jack, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. This is Ken.
Oh, yes, Mr. Kenny, welcome to the show. What is your contribution for this evening? We have Honorable Binwell Mpundu. By the way, Mr. Mpundu, let me just let you know that Mr. Kenny is my honorary co-host. He's here every single show, so when he calls, I just know it's going to be heated. Take it away, Mr. Kenny.
No, thanks a lot. Honorable, how are you, my dear?
Very well, Kenny. How are you?
I'm okay too. You know, Honorable, I think when we send you to Parliament, the first thing that you should understand, Parliament is a holy place.
Holy, you mean?
Whereby, that's why you go, you swear, you use the Bible. That means you are inviting the intervention of God guiding us in the national matters. Now, if you are to check you guys the way you are debating there, it's very discouraging. I think tonight you will tell us whether you like the meaning of in Parliament at your age. Because when we send people there, we want them to debate real issues. Have you seen? Then the other issue, I think Parliament, Montel, has to be banned or stop the selling of alcohol. Because most of you guys, when you go there, when you are given break, you go to that side, then you have alcohol, which is very bad again. Then when you call a party, or me, I call you Mr. Mpundu, like you are evil. In short, I'm saying you are the son of the devil. I think you should apologize over that. Then the other issue, Natasha, that man is seeking to be the leader tomorrow for the nation. He should understand that people, they have complained so far. In most cases, I follow him on his page. Some of the issues he says in Parliament, I said, no, I've got no problem over the thing that he says in Parliament. Because sometimes you find maybe the ruling party, maybe Mafuna Kupona, it's a wake-up call for them that no, Ukanyapa. Sometimes my punches are not punching, I do welcome them. But you should do them within the confines of the law. No jokes when you are in Parliament. We must be serious. That's what I'm telling you. We shall tame you because we had leaders who were calling us stupid idiots. But they were tamed. Even you, we shall tame you because you are seeking to be the leader of this country. And the other issue, if you start comparing other people like, the finance minister, who is this one? But what about Mundubile, whom you are supporting? You are supporting him. He started this came during the time of MMD. And he knows exactly for him to qualify to be the president of each nation, the thing that he's supposed to do. I listened to him today on radio. He admitted that we don't have a party. Now, can we allow somebody to be in State House without a party? Honorable. Thank you very much. I'm listening.
Thank you very much.
But over that issue with calling people evil, please tell us something. We are not sons of the devils. We are sons of God.
Okay,
that's what I believe in.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenny. Do stay tuned to the People's Radio. All right. Last message that came in. I'm Carlos from Monze. How many youths did you employ during PF that were fired by the UPND? At this point, I'm going to hand it over to you, Honorable Mpundu. I guess maybe what I would like to rephrase this question and rather say, and I think it will come at the end to say, as Nkana MP, what are you doing for the youth? That is different from what the current government is doing. But I'll give you the floor at this point.
So there are quite a number of issues that have been raised. Let me start with two issues. I'm being asked to withdraw the word foolish by Katongo of Lusaka.
And by Mr. Kenny.
And by Mr. Kenny, I'm being asked to withdraw evil. Let me be as sincere as I can be.
Please.
To me, black is black. It will never be white. When you do something foolish, I will call you such as foolish. I don't beat about the bush. I say it as it is. When you do foolish actions, we will call you a fool. Katongo, I have no apologies to make. When leaders engage in foolish actions such as corruption, I am going to call them as such, and I would never apologize. I would rather you hate me for being blunt. God forgive me. Evil. When you do evil things, you are nothing but evil. Elections is an opportunity for people to make decisions about who should lead them. It is simply a competition, and we've been competing since 1991. Wakaunda took away that competition. We are the one-party state. We fought as a citizens. Let's go back to multipartyism. Let's create rules that allows anyone to register a political party, to participate in elections. Today, Tasha, the UPND have taken away the ability of people to register political parties. There is a rule there. No one of us who have tried to register political parties have been allowed.
Actively, you can't. If I went to register,
you will not unless you are a surrogate. Ask any political player today, they will tell you how daunting it has been to register a political party, let alone to just even make any changes at the the Registry of Society. Now that is evil. When you attempt to kick out competitors using other draconian means or secondary registration, because there's a supreme law which governs or which guides who must participate in election. If you enact any law that circumvents what the Constitution says, that action is evil. We have heard people. Today we were discussing in Parliament. Honorable Kampiongo raised this issue where yesterday the Electoral Commission of Zambia issued a statement suggesting that they will only allow those who will have certificates signed by party president. That law does not exist today. It is being proposed in the current bill that is under Parliament. So when you have a commissioner who issues an instruction based on a law that has not yet been promulgated, that is evil. When you appoint cadres, today we were ratifying people that have been appointed by the president. One of them is a cadre who was pulled from the campaign in Luansha, Sinkala. He is qualified, but he is a party cadre who wanted to stand in the election of Luansha. When you pile up the ECZ with cadres as commissioners, you are compromising the integrity of elections. Already we have cadres at ECZ. You know Bazaromes was a party function. Oh, if you're not comfortable with cadres, let me use party-affiliated individuals.
When you say cadres, there's a certain identity that is linked
Cadre
to
is not demeaning. It's not a demeaning word.
But cadres is associated with violence. It's
No,
associated with corruption.
no,
It's associated with it. That's what
not
people
at
in
all.
Zambia
You can actually say a cadre of civil servants.
Absolutely.
So cadres is not a demeaning word. We have McDonald Chipens, who is a non-typical cadre of the UPND, who is now a commissioner at ECZ. We have Mwangala Zalomes, qualified, experienced, but she was a cadre until she was appointed. We have now Sarifianj, who has now been appointed from a campaign trail. These cadres cannot inspire trust. Elections is about us having trust in the body that is handling elections. How can non-cadres, be unbiased in the decisions they are going to be making? So these decisions for me are evil. And it is up to you. If you are going to commit evil actions, then you are also evil. The people who are being jailed today for not committing a crime, a case of Bachitotela, the case of Munia Zulu was sent to jail for not committing a crime. Those who does such are evil people. The actions of sending people to jail without committing a crime is evil. So I am sorry, Bakeni, those are evil men who are practicing evil activities. Let me go back to the other messages that we received. We received from Michael, who said, youth recruitment, what are we going to do? Because we are just seeing youths being recruited. Unfortunately, by Michael, these your leaders today only cares about their children. That is why they can, for the first time in the history of this country, recruit secretively. It has never happened in this country. I have said this today, and I've said it before. Political party is about, there is a reward system, Tasha, around loyalty. It's not just in Zambia. Even in the US, those who supported Donald Trump have been rewarded. It is normal, to appoint somebody who is qualified, who was loyal to you for as long as they are qualified. There are certain institutions where you cannot send people or appoint people because they were loyal to you. They are cadres. As an example, I'm stressing the issue of ECZ. No matter where you look at it from, for as long as you are normal, you cannot condone the appointment of typical cadres into the Electoral Commission of Zambia. You can appoint them anywhere else. I don't care. But the Electoral Commission of Zambia is a sensitive organ because it manages the most critical, assignment that defines the destiny of this country. We are now seeing cadres being moved from the market, from the bus station, being hipped in sensitive position. That hurts me. And when I'm hurt, I don't hide.
That's the same thing that the PF did.
PF never did that. Even when you were accused that they were professionals. Name one person who was at ECZ who was put from a campaign, who was wearing regalias. They were professionals. If they followed instructions, they just followed the instruction of the PF. But they were not pulled from being cadres. Just like we've seen at ACC. You pull out somebody who was actually a cadre vying for a position. You go and make them as leader of the Anti-Corruption Commission. How will they pursue
the PF might
criminality?
Put people in ECZ, but they also gave them jobs. They often gave them.
That is why
we were seeing structures and homes being built in the most we wonder was this even
perfect? I have said this, Tasha. I have said this. Anywhere in the world, a reward system is what governs politics. When you are loyal to a political party, even me, my loyalty paid. They made me district commissioner. Those are positions that are, reserved, deliberately for people who are loyal to a political party. There are certain institutions where you cannot afford to have cadres, and that's my insistence. PF did the same. They were employing people into positions. They were giving businesses, just like by UPN, they are giving businesses. I don't mind you giving your cadres businesses for as long as they can perform. I don't mind you as UPND employing people, giving positions to people for as long as you don't entertain or you don't go to an extent of
compromise the integrity
of elections. Okay? So, But Michael, I just want to tell you, these your leaders only cares for their children and the people that sings praises for you. The ordinary people who never have opportunities like you young people, because how can you explain a government that for the first time secretly recruits police officers who are going to be managing their affairs? That's a big story. That is in fact, it's not a big story. It is a scandal of a century. It has never been. Yes, we had UPND, PF rather, youths who were recruited in the police service, but every recruitment under PF was publicly done. There was a process where you go for physical assessment, and then they can pick people who they like, because it is being done openly. When you recruit people privately, secretly, chances are that you can even recruit criminals, especially that we are going to elections. Who knows, those police officers could be pulled from a gang of criminals and they're going to be assigned to start doing clandestine. Like that gentleman who made a revelation that they used to do clandestine operations for PF. They were called the Special Squad. So we have now come to realize that by UPND created a special squad that used to do clandestine, operations. What are clandestine operations? Can we not conclude that even the gassing could have been done as a clandestine operation? Okay, so unfortunately that is what you have. Michael, let me respond to Narishua. Yes. Zambian youths love you, but you have disappointed us because you have joined Abakalamba. I want to tell you, the political environment now could not allow us as young people to go solo. We are not about, in this election, and I want to be specific, we are not about to entertain the idea of just being part of the statistics. No, I participated in the last election. Now, Fumileko number 6. This is not the election. Because beyond the 2026 election, there is no democracy here. We already have had the plans, at least through their media, because you see, by UPND are very predictable. They have revealed through their media, Uyumukalamba Cosmas, by suggesting that after this election of August, they are now going to even amend the constitution to allow President HH to go up to 2090. How do you expect that we, the young people, should now participate in this election just for statistics? Because we have not covered the ground. We started each other in 2023 in December. We have not covered the ground. That is why for us now, it is more about liberating this country, and that's why we have joined hands with the likes of the Tonse, led by Mundubile. Oh, by the way, Mundubile is relatively young. He's under the age of 55. So he's not far away from our benchmark in terms of who is young. Yes. In fact, for us, it qualifies to be part of each other. In terms of comparison between Mundubile and Msokotwani, Mundubile has not held those very sensitive positions before, like Msokotwani, who has been finance minister several times, yet no results. So we want to try Mundubile. He was just a minister of a province. We want to now try him. After all, he fits the description of a resourceful young Zambian politician. Who else? Matthew says, why don't you also praise the UPND for the good they have done? Why do you always condemn them? Yes. Yesterday, I supported the UPND in Parliament. They introduced a bill to make free education a law. I supported them. But you still I agreed. I agreed. No, but come on. You,
so, no, because evil is evil at the end of the day, like you said.
Tasha, come on.
You said evil.
When you do one good thing, unfortunately, and do many evil things, we will call you for the good, we will call you for the evil things. I supported the UPND yesterday in Parliament. They introduced that bill. I was all marveling and I supported them. Okay? But tell me what else I must support. I have, of course, recognized their decision to raise the CDF from 1.6 of PF to 40 million now. But I have reprimanded them for the failure to implement this CDF effectively. Because let's look at this. I come from a constituency that is in town, Nkana, Nimu town. For us, to develop Nkana or development in Nkana is more than just CDF. Which is why, even when I say well done for increasing the CDF, I still want this government to do more, because for a constituency like mine, CDF is nothing. If Nkana, our projects needs more money, because in Nkana you can't be grading roads. You need tarred roads. Okay, if you grade roads in Nkana, in Parklands as an example, Elo Lukungu, it will be subject for insults. You will be now, a target of insults. We need tarred roads. To do a tarred road, a kilometer, is 10 million kwacha. When you look at the CDF for 40 million, when you take away the component of empowerment, skills and everything, what remains is a very small chunk that cannot even attend to the sanitation of my place, or a place called Buchi in Kamitondo, which sanitation project costed us $7 million. $7 million will take you 10 years of your current CDF. Okay? So when they do good, I am not shy to say, well done. But I can tell you, you cannot tell me to salute them for trying to manipulate the election. This is the only country. I am 43 years old, Tasha. This is the only country where citizens remain quiet when the Minister of Information is saying we are going to manipulate the election. Because when you say we are going to do imingalato in football means ale pikaula, skills, Imingalato in politics means manipulation.
You'll be dribbled.
You'll be dribbled. You don't dribble in elections. Okay? You don't dribble. That is why we see them trying to now amend the law in the last minutes to try and justify or to now align with their scheme to do imingalato. This is the only country. And the reason is very simple. They started with amending the law. Or creating the cyber laws, so that now you cannot hold them accountable, you cannot question them. Mairo Umunandi the other day, Mwenda, was slept 2 days, 2 nights in cells for simply saying Motake Diaba president Yari Luba. Not to Kurubati Yata disappear completely. No, they just lost their way. That is what he said. They took him, slept in cells for 2 nights. Imagine President HH who dared the presidential motorcade. Presidential motorcade is a law. There is a law that governs how you should handle a presidential motorcade. Whether for as long as you see them coming, move. You have to move, sir. There is nobody who is sacred or special that they must hold their lane when the presidential motorcade is coming. But our president did Fast and Furious in Mongu. Today he claims no, they were very unfair because it was just a traffic offense. That is not a traffic offense, Tasha. In other places, that is a serious matter. But you see, our friends today can take you to Maceo's, sleep 2 nights for simply saying motorcade yari luba. So they cleverly enacted First Amafunde to gag the citizens. They now want to take that to even parliament so that even the parliamentarians cannot be speaking. No, mmulefu atule balumbaba. Atibangedi, you want us to be praising that they are angels for shutting the citizens, sitting on the liberties and freedoms of people. You cannot even hold them accountable. You've seen how many times I've been chased out of parliament on the insinuation that I've said falsehoods. Yes. The CBU issue. I raise an issue that at your wabepa. Meanwhile, Milo, Chasa Sangati, they have actually been paid.
Yes.
Okay? So, Bane, when we speak, Tatuba Pati Leva UP and to Patileko Fie Misango, we just hate their conduct. And me, I don't sugarcoat. When you behave, Go muntu ushikwe kiamano, I will tell you abe chimutu because your head is not working. He is saying, because of what you say in parliament, we have not paid attention to what goes on the other side. You have heard me sometimes. Na makayampo na fila nukulanda because of the heckling. Those guys could provoke you to a point where, you say, Fishabatishiwa. What
So do you
happens?
feel like there is more light being shone on opposition voices speaking against the UPND than light being shone on the UPND on why opposition is speaking against them, and maybe some of the triggers and the ways that they're aggravating opposition? Because we've heard about these before. No, they are trying to silence us. No, they're trying to keep us quiet. But people are still asking, where are the checks and balances and the receipts for these accusations?
Well, the UPND doesn't want checks and balances. In fact, the sad part of Zambia is that in politics, when you say something against the ruling party, it's not they will not refer to it as checks and balances, especially the UPND. When you say something that they don't like, they will say you are bitter, okay, or you are uncouth, or you are a junkie. They call me junkie because I am holding them accountable. For me, it doesn't hurt. Insults don't hurt me, okay. What I just don't allow is for you to go away with an insult. There I don't permit. Me, what I believe in life is that if you want me to respect you, you must respect me first. I don't care whether you don't vote for me tomorrow, for as long as you must relate with me in the way you want me to relate with you. Respect is mutual. It is earned. You cannot expect Binwell to respect you when you come with insults. No. Ine nakuja kopa beoti kugeto. So nga wantuka kadiaka kugeto kala fuma, and it doesn't matter whether I'm a leader. We cannot be a society that promotes lawlessness.
What about being
or
the
society?
bigger man?
No.
Standing and being the bigger man.
No.
Leading by example.
Bigger.
Somebody spoke about be like example, because you're teaching the youth to speak like you, to say the things that you say, that it's okay to, because some youth, they lack context, you know what I mean? All they hear is what you say. They don't think about the context and like how you have been able to explain, to say, no, the reason I said this is because I'm going to call you out when you do foolish things. I'm going to call it foolish.
You are not a bigger person. Tasha, you are not a bigger person by allowing young people to insult their leaders. Somebody just called me childish. In Kalamba, 43 years, with Abanabadi 4. Some of them are even on social media following this conversation. And then you are fool. Abanaba age mate, you are childish. And you say, I must be a bigger man. That is not how society is built. Inena munganda mumwandu mwana ngalo fyanya kumukapa. Takwaba ama insambo at I have my rights. Your rights to me. No. That is not how you build a society. In a society you must preach respect, mutual respect, where people relate with one another. You see, politics is an avenue of ideas. It's a fight. It's a competition of ideas. It's not, a platform for expressing hatred or advancing vengeful agendas. What we are seeing from a UPND is a clique of people that are bent at revenging. If let's also take them to jail. Or if let's also do this to. That is not what politics is. Okay? Politics is a beautiful game around ideas. Okay? We should exactly, let's communicate. Let's express ourselves. Don't shut people through the laws. Do you know, Tasha? The monsters, or rather, let me not use monsters. Dictators, tyrannies are not born as dictators. They are made through the laws that you enact. You start with the cyber laws. Shut everyone up. Nobody can question me. I'm almighty. Because my law, President Akesa Lufianya, nobody will say anything. You say something, jail. You are creating a tyranny. You go to the constitution, manipulate the constitution. You want to even go to an extent of, let's remove term limit. Okay, let's remove, a 50+1, because that is what is coming for you, the Zambian people. Remember when this conversation started around amendment of the constitution, there were two things being said. No, we want to start with the less contentious issues. So what we've done through Bill 7 are less contentious issues. When they win by UPND, their agenda is to now touch the contentious issues. And they've started letting the cat out of the bag through their own mouthpieces like Cosmas Chireshe abatirokwe bati tukachinja tukafumyako term limit teinenagandire Cosmas Chireshe first started with the Oga family when they were signing Bill 7. They said no apachawa manomba, next HH must go forever. Then a chief from Southern Province also remarked that HH needs more time. Then Cosmas, who is a spokesperson of the UPND, amplifies it and says, if we are going to make sure that tukafunyeko term limit. So if you are one of those who are thinking by UPND means well, they are Democrats, they are going to respect the Constitution. Yes, they are going to respect the Constitution, but they are first of all going to mutilate the Constitution. They are going to change it completely to fit into their agenda. These are not Democrats. These are not the kind of leaders that a society like Zambia needs at the moment. And the Zambian people must see them for who they are. And we have a duty, Tasha. Don't say, I never warned you about these things. I've been warning the citizens. I warned you about the cyber laws, you ignored me. I've been warning you about the CCTV law where the minister now wants to have the powers to be inserting cameras in your public toilets. Who does that? Imwe kuyabika toilet camera mu toilet ya public finishu for kutamba. Remember in the cyber crimes law they put a provision ukutila law enforcement agencies now are allowed to go and insert gadgets in your premise. Do you know what a premise is? Inganda yo any premise. So law enforcement agencies through the cyber crimes law have actually been empowered. This is law. To now go and put or insert gadgets so that they can intercept your communication if they suspect that ulalanda poto akulandalanda which can lead into crime. Now, how will they insert those cameras or gadgets? What are gadgets? Gadgets include cameras or recorders. Where do you think if a law enforcement agencies would insert a gadget in your house? Take a bedroom. So bedroom kumwenu imoba batasha. If they put a camera, what do they want to do? Those are not assumptions. Now let me tell you, those are not assumptions. Those are part of the laws the UPND have enacted. So they will privately get into your premise, insert those gadgets. But you see, premises are now monitored by CCTVs. Now, you can see them at Bachingira because I can actually be watching my CCTV, my home through my phone if I've connected with my CCTV setup, right? What have they done now? They've now enacted another law called the CCTV law, which now demands that for you to have a CCTV pamobe, you must now get a permit, a license. So if they want to come into your presence, will they give you a license? They will not. Tasha, are you listening to me?
What you're saying? I'm listening to what you're saying, and it's a very daunting idea to think that our privacy is now at stake.
It is.
Honorable Mpundu.
It is.
It's a conversation that I feel needs to be unpacked further.
By the way, Tasha,
yes.
audio 5.
Yes.
The CCTV law will now demand that when you want to do a live stream, you must go and get a permission from the officers. Yeah. For as long as it's in the public. Public places includes even church. So bashima pepo mwebale umfuako to be doing your live streaming.
You know what I would love to do? I would love to get somebody from the UPND to clarify honestly what the CCTV law is. I think so. And what we want to do also on this platform is now slide into an era of actual debates, because we've heard people speak, and you speak without the people we're speaking about with you in the studio, to banter back and forth to hear where these ideas are coming from, how someone countered. So you're definitely one person.
So you see, Tasha,
I would love to.
I'll tell you what somebody has been writing on my Facebook. Yes. No, stop misleading people.
Yes.
Me, I don't mislead.
Yes.
Me,
the messages are also coming here. Please don't mislead people.
Tasha,
I wouldn't vote for somebody who insults.
Tasha. It's one thing not to vote for me. It's one thing not to vote for me. But it's another thing for you to suggest that I am misleading you when I'm telling you the fact. Me, I sit in that parliament. I have been discussing these matters. Tell me if there's a Zambian person who never heard me warn you about the cyber laws and spoke to all these provisions. Tell me if there's anyone who never heard me talk about the CCTV law. Tell me. So where am I misleading people?
I hear you loud and clear. Honorable Mpundu, and this conversation, I promise you, I don't want it to end, sir. I really don't want it to end. But unfortunately, we have run out of time. And I pray that you come back again so that we can continue the conversation. And I want us to dig deeper
Always.
into your service as an MP for Nkana constituency. And obviously, again, touch on the youth and how they can benefit from supporting you and backing you. But at this point, I still want us to do the rapid fire. He's just going to answer yes or no, if that's okay right now. Because the answers, I think for now, let's keep them at yes, no, quickly, just to hear your final stance on some of these issues. Are you ready? Okay. So it's a yes or no question. Okay. Are youth feared in Zambian politics?
Yes, they are.
They are. Is Zambia ready for a youth president?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Are older politicians blocking generational transition?
Yes, it is.
Yes, they are. Should youth stop idolizing politicians?
No, you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't.
No.
Okay. Can Zambia's future be built by unemployed youth?
No, it can't.
Is activism dead in Zambia?
It is.
Have political parties failed the youth?
They have.
On that note, we have to unfortunately wrap it up. And Honorable Mpundu, this conversation has not come to an end.
Nah.
We're just going to call it halftime.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Zambia cannot continue using young people as political engines while excluding them from national architecture. The youth are not just campaigning tools. They are not just crowds. They are not just hashtags. They are not just defenders of political brands. They're citizens, they're thinkers, they're innovators, and increasingly they're demanding more than slogans. The question is no longer whether youth are the future. The question is, will Zambia finally trust them with the president? We have a youth in our studio today who has quite a huge responsibility on his back. The Member of Parliament of Nkana constituency in the National Assembly, Honorable Binwell Mpundu. Sir, you've spoken your mind. We've heard you loud and clear. And I just want to say thank you very much for making time to speak to us today.
It's been a beautiful moment, Tasha, and I'm extremely honored and humbled to have been here. Let me end by just saying Zambia belongs to all of us. Zambia belongs to the young people. The young people can decide whether Zambia will head, for doom or gloom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has been the Sky Forum. Yo, we are well past the time, but wasn't that an interesting conversation? Time flies when you're having fun. You don't see it go.
Yeah,
but
man.
right about now, we have to call it time. It is 20:35 right here on the Feel Good Culture Corner, and this has been the Sky Forum. Do stay tuned. This is the People's Radio, Sky FM. We still have a lot